eventos latinoamericanos. Estamos en el podcast Cara a Cara, our podcast face to face, and we are very happy. Voy a cambiar a inglés. I'm going to turn in English right now, so maybe you can follow us on the subtitles and on Spotify. Sorry, but you need to learn English. But thank you. We are in IMEX Frankfurt. We are in Germany, and it's my pleasure to be with Carina Bauer. Carina, you're the CEO, the director of IMEX, and IMEX, that it's an event, that it's a symbol in the meetings industry. Carina, first of all, thanks for being with us in the podcast.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So it's been many years. I mean, we know the reference about this show, but everything started with your father, with Ray Bloom, and at some point, since the beginning, you were interested in the show. Your idea was to follow his steps, this legacy, or how was IMEX when you were young?
Yeah, so actually when I was growing up, he launched and ran the IBTM show.
Of course.
He launched, it was EIBTM at the time in Geneva. So when I was growing up, I saw him launch that. I attended that show, and you'll laugh because most of our summer holidays were spent at industry conventions in the States. So I got a little bit of a feel for the industry. He actually launched IMEX a few years after I finished my studies at university.
Okay.
And initially I wasn't sure if I would go into the business, but I got a chance to join the launch team actually in 2002. So about 9 months before the first show here in Frankfurt in April 2003. And I thought that I would just join the launch show, help out with that, and then leave and do something else. But I enjoyed it too much, so I stayed and realized, it was a great opportunity that I had, and in a really special industry as well.
Amazing. And did you study anything about meetings or you're a chef or something?
No, I studied politics, philosophy and economics. So a really great broad academic study. It gave me a lot of skills, but not specifically anything to do with this industry or with business.
Maybe that could help for negotiations?
Yeah, I think what it gave me, I think I was always interested in international relations and diplomacy, which is partly why I studied politics and I majored in international relations. So in some ways we do that to a degree here, and I get a lot of enjoyment and pleasure and inspiration from traveling and meeting people from all around the world as well.
Amazing. So from that event, from that first IMEX until now, what is your vision? How do you see, because in the meantime, we suffer pandemic, right? So a situation that we have never been there. Our generation, but this growth, how do you see it, and how is your feel about that?
Yeah, I think as an industry, I always thought in the middle of the pandemic, I knew that our industry would come back strongly. I didn't know maybe what it would look like, how long that would take, and I think how fast it's come back has surprised all of us. But at the end of the day, there's this human need to be together in person, and it's not just a sort of psychological need, but that's the way we get things done as human beings. That's the way we are motivated. That's the way we share ideas and inspiration, which is so important for whether it's solving big issues like climate change, or whether it's sharing medical research, or whether it's just motivating our employees. So I always really fundamentally believe that, and I still do. And I think that the developments and changes that the world is going through at the moment, largely often driven by technology, I think that's actually going to mean that coming together face to face is going to be more important. But with some of the other challenges that we have in the industry, like climate change, I think coming together in a purposeful, very intentional way is going to become increasingly important. And so I think as an industry, it's really important that we don't take anything for granted, and we're not complacent about these issues, and that we play our part as an industry in helping to create an industry and create events that have real meaning, have real purpose, so that the cost of those events, whether that's a human cost or an environmental cost, is well worth that cost. And has that positive impact and legacy. So that's what I think is really going to be a transformational time for us in the industry as we really understand how to do that and more intentionally.
Of course, this transformation that you are mentioning is part, or do you see it in your vision in 10 years?
Yes, very much so. I mean, we're already at IMEX as a team working very hard on a lot of these issues. And one of the things we know is our responsibility in the place that we sit in the industry is to bring these ideas to the industry and to help the industry really understand how to do this. And we know that we can have a multiplier effect. So we take that responsibility, not just of doing it ourselves, what we call in England walking the talk, but also using that influence really wisely.
Of course. So I know these are busy times. You're finishing Frankfurt to 2024. You will be starting working right away for IMEX Vegas. But in the meantime, how is Carina outside the exhibitions in there? What she likes to do in the personal way?
Yeah, so I'm very lucky. I've got a lovely, wonderful husband who always holds the fort whilst I'm traveling. I have two boys, they're teenagers, 13 and 16. And so what I really love to do is obviously spend time with my family. My husband has his own business as well. He owns an indoor bouldering center. So we climb a lot as a family and as a couple as well. We like adventure sports, so we like climbing, we like skiing, we like ski touring. I like to go to the gym and keep fit, and really that's what my relaxation looks like. It's being active and doing things that take me away completely and ideally into nature as well.
That sounds amazing. And in this case, your boys, you see that they're starting to be involved and they're interested in an IMEX. You see,
I don't know yet.
Not yet?
I don't know yet. I think one of them maybe. He's a little bit young, but I see maybe one of them might be interested, and then one of them, I don't know, maybe he's going to be a mathematician. I'm very proud of that as well.
Good. Yeah, well, I mean, once you know these meetings in the free, I mean, you can't go on. It's difficult to go out.
Exactly.
I know what I mean. So if you have not been doing this, what do you like to do?
Well, I think probably if I wasn't doing this and I didn't need to make any money, I would be skiing in a ski resort. But I think when I first came out of university, having studied politics and international relations, one of the things I was really interested in was working in an international organization, an NGO, or the United Nations, something like that was probably my dream. And so, maybe in another life, that's what I would have been doing.
Maybe First Minister?
I'm not sure about the politics side of it. Just to work with people from all over the world. I mean, I'm already doing that, but work to try to solve some of those big issues in the world.
Amazing. So IMEX, you see, coming back to IMEX, you see a lot of culture. You see how you see how Latin America is developing in your show. I mean, because we are here right now in Frankfurt. You see Panama, Costa Rica, Mexico, of course. But how do you see this impact, and how is growing against?
Well, we've definitely seen Latin America and Central America grow back after the pandemic. We know that sometimes it can be difficult with some of the politics in different countries. It tends to change things year to year, sometimes more so than in other areas of the world. But we also see that the demand from the private sector, from the exhibitors, and also from the buyers is very strong. And when we see demand from the buyer market coming out of Latin America, what we really know is happening in the destinations is that this marketplace is maturing. Because once you have companies inside the country who are mature enough to take their meetings and their events outside into the region and then globally, you know that the markets are really maturing in terms of the size and level and prosperity of the companies companies that are there. And so we see that right across Latin America, I would say, Chile, Argentina, Brazil, these are all really strong markets. Mexico, of course, strong markets where we're getting demand from buyers, hosted buyers to come into either IMEX America or IMEX Frankfurt. And that's really great to see as well.
Do you have any preferred country or city in Latin America?
So I haven't traveled really extensively in Latin America. I've been to Mexico, I've been to Uruguay, and I've been to Costa Rica. So I probably have to say Costa Rica because it's the one I spent the most time in and traveled around the most. I have no doubt if I travel to the others, this would be much harder. But because I had such a great experience in Costa Rica, it's really given me a love for the region, and I really would love to come back and spend more time. But it was a very special place. I found Costa Rica, especially with its focus on nature and sustainability. I really stayed in some small properties, and I've really felt that everywhere I went. And I had a really fantastic time. And what I remember the most about it is waking up to the sound of monkeys. And I really missed it when I went home after 3 weeks. So yeah, it was very special, and I would like to spend a lot more time in the region.
And you have any country in your bucket list from Latin America that you would like to go?
I would love to go to Peru. And I would love to go to Argentina and Colombia as well. And then everywhere else as well. But probably those would be my top three. Just because of people I know who've been there, or they've told, or the exhibitors who've told me about the destination.
Okay, in CBBs you have heard Carina, so you know who can you invite. Carina, thank you very much for being here. I mean, any word in Spanish that you would like to say to the...
No, I can't. It's too embarrassing because I think the only word I really know is gracias.
Gracias. That's more than enough, Carina. Thanks again. Congratulations for this magnificent show. I mean, we are happy to be here every year and to be involved with all the meetings industry, with all the marketing, the tourism that we do around. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think this is the best is yet to come.
Thank you very much.
Gracias, amigos de Funky Company, eventos latinoamericanos. Carina Bauer, la referencia de IMEX Frankfurt y IMEX Américas. Seguimos. Gracias.